At least you're owning the thing.
He's very honest.
Well, again, in the same way, I'm not in the same category as Elon wealth-wise. One day I'll invent a space company, but in any or a car company. But I mean, again, when you get back to what we were talking about via our public, like we're pretty honest. There's certain things that we think violate our standards. You're going, if you don't like it, you know, that's your judgment. You're allowed to make that judgment. For him, he's doing the same thing, and I kind of like it.
You're bringing the foundation that you brought to your home here. I'm not here to teach my kids what their opinions are. I'm teaching them my opinions, and so you're bringing that to the Daily Wire. And you also like the fact that Elon is doing that with X.
Yeah, and I think that he's also being careful because he's not in quite the same position we are, where it's like I'm only doing my opinion. He's like, here is the very, very broad panoply of things I think are appropriate, and it's real broad, like super broad, including things that I think most people find kind of egregious morally. But he's like, you know what?
Could you name me one?
Sure. I mean, like I think that there's an awful lot of Nazi content on X, like actual like pro-Hitler content on X. Do I think that should be banned from X? Probably not. I think that I think it's up to people to look at that and say that's trash. I don't want to be, you know, associated with that, or I don't like it. But
where do you think we should draw the line?
I think where he's drawn it is pretty good. I mean, he said like child pornography, incitement to violence, like actual criminal activity. I think that's the direction that Elon has moved, and that's a ballsy standard. It means that he's running up against the advertisers all the time.
Yeah, right? But that's the coolest part about being Bruce Wayne. You don't need their money. Like him and Trump, their superpowers are I don't need your money.
Right, but also Elon wants that to be a successful business, and so he's coming up with creative ways to monetize on the platform and to come up with new solutions for advertisers. I mean, I admire the hell out of what he's doing. I mean, he came in, he slashed 80% of the staff. I mean, it was like him and 5 guys, and somehow the staff, the site continued to run on kind of, spit and glue, and it was, and now he's building back out some of the teams that he needs. It's an impressive thing. It's a very impressive thing what he's doing.
You got to sit down with him and talk to him. Mm-hmm. How was that interview? Like, did you like it?
Oh, that's fun. I mean,
were you nervous now?
Yeah, so much less. I mean, I was also on the other side, so it's easier to be the interviewer than the interviewee. Elon is such an interesting cat. He's really, really fascinating. I think that Elon, the way he analyzes things, it's like an alien has arrived and is now trying to discern what exactly is going on.
Yeah.
And so he's always going to first principles, always, right? Whenever in every conversation, he's like, I want to break this down to like the very first principles. He analyzes responses of human beings almost like a scientist would, like breaking it down in the lab. And it's really fascinating. I think that the sort of, he's not personable. He's, pretty, I'm sure that's true for some people. I've never had that personal experience with him, but, I think it's a little overstated. Again, I've never been his employee, which may be a different story, but yeah.
I have this weird, I've never met him. Mm-hmm. God willing, I'll have the opportunity to sit with him and have a conversation. From my perspective, from what I see through the lens of like social media or his interviews, I see a really intelligent child. Who's a childlike in his heart, where he's like, he wants the best in everybody, but he's been hurt by so much stuff.
So I think that part's true. I mean, when you say that there's like a core innocence to him in his approach to the world, I think that's 100% true.
For him to be so successful and so rich and so generous with like what he's doing, I find it to be very like honorable. Like I think that, I don't know what his relationship with God is, but I feel like he acts more like somebody who fears God than somebody who doesn't.
I mean, he's said that he's sort of open to God before, and I think that that's probably right on a conceptual level. I also think that, again, it takes a certain level of childlike wonder to be audacious enough to just be like, I'm starting a space company. Like, I mean,
after PayPal too. How wild is that?
One thing that he said, and he likes cool stuff. Like he approaches the world as a person who's excited about the world, which is a very cool quality. Like it's a super cool quality. This sort of,
I hope he never gets rid of that.
Yeah, no, the sort of blasé approach that I think so many people take to business or to life, this kind of cynical world weariness, it's boring as hell. And he's precisely the opposite. So I was sitting with him and I said, so my son, my 8-year-old, is like a massive Elon Musk fan, right? He loves cars and he loves space and he loves SpaceX, and I show him all the launches. Like he's super into it. And so I was talking to him, I was like, my son, this is right before the Cybertruck came out. I was like, the Cybertruck, my son loves the design. He thinks it's so good. He's like, right, because I designed it so 6-year-olds would find it cool. I was like, that seems like a pretty good way of doing cool shit. Do you see, like really, like, well, what a 6-year-old thinks is cool is also what most of us think is really, really cool, right? I mean, like, it's and most of us have
I can see him crisscross applesauce just playing with the toy versions of it. And he goes, I like this, build this.
He literally did that with one of the SpaceX rockets. Apparently, the top of the rocket was too round, and then he watched the Sacha Baron Cohen movie where there's a